Hey guys and gals, because I do have some women watching my channel, so I should not leave them out. How y'all doing? I just want to do a little piece to camera real quick here. Kind of go over my journey of how I went from only taking JPEG photos to now taking JPEG and RAW. And eventually I'll probably switch over to only RAW, just so I can save space on my hard drives, because while JPEG may not take as much space as RAW, having a JPEG photo of everything I take, in addition to the RAW photos, just, yeah, I don't know. If I'm going to edit everything I want to share on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else, YouTube, it's all going to be compressed, and I'm going to edit it before I show it because I want it to look the best. And yeah, I don't need the JPEGs because I don't really share the JPEGs. I put everything in the Lightroom that I'm going to share, edit it, and export it with small when I want to share it on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, and large when I want to export it just for my own keeping. You know, 'cause I may want to print it. Well, some of them I definitely will print, and I want the large copies of those as I edited them so they look the best. And I think I'm going to move to just RAW and see how that works, because yeah, well, if I'm not going to use the JPEGs, if I'm not going to share them, I'm not going to edit them, why keep them? Why take them in the first place? But I digress. Back to my journey. So I started taking pictures, I don't know, years and years ago with film camera. Nothing expensive, just a regular point and shoot. And whenever we had family get-togethers, whatever I would be the one that was always taking the pictures. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, I decided to get more serious about it. And I bought a Panasonic Lumix G7 with 2 lenses, the kit lenses, the 14 to 42 and the 45 to 150. And that was a great outfit. And I still have those lenses and that camera because it shoots 4K, and when I need a B or a C camera, that is the one I use. I also upgraded to a G85 about 2 years after that. That one came with the 12 to 60 Lumix camera. 12 to 60 Lumix lens as a kit from Best Buy for $699. And then within the last year, I believe it was in October, so about a year ago, yeah, October of 2021, I upgraded again, but this time I bought used, because I found that Mike's Camera in Sacramento had 2 used Panasonic Lumix G9 cameras. And I made a call to them, and I did some research first to see what I should look for as far as if I'm going to buy a used camera, what I need to be careful about. And one of the things I learned was to find out how many, what do you call it? How many times the shutter has been used. Shutter count, that's what it is. Find out what the shutter count is. Well, I called them, and both of them had been, one of them had, I think, less than 1,000 shutter count, and the other one had like 1,200 some, or 1,400 something like that. Well under 2,000 anyway. Yeah, like 12 or 1,400, something like that. But yeah, I checked my G80, I think it was my G85 I checked, and it had, in about, I don't know, 18 months that I had been using it, 43,000 shutter count. And I'm like, okay, that's like, and they said on average a camera can last up to 200,000 shutter count. So I was like, wow, I'm, getting close to that 50,000 mark before too long. Get about a quarter of the way through what I can use it to, supposedly. So anyway, I decided, that's like buying a car that has like 1,000 miles on it, or maybe 500 miles on it. It's barely even broken in. So I decided, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I picked the one that came with a battery, and well, they gave you a battery no matter which one I chose, but one of them had a cover and one of them didn't. Not sure why you would sell a camera without the cover, but anyway, I bought one of the G9s that they had, and when I got that, I'm like, I'm taking 80. If you know the Panasonic Lumix G9, it can shoot a high resolution mode up to 80 megapixels. And I don't use that very often, but I do use it. And I'm like, I want to be able to edit these pictures. And I started using Lightroom, the trial, for a while. And I'm like, I was doing some RAW, but mostly JPEG editing. And I noticed when I did bring up a RAW picture, just even in the Photos app within Windows, it was like after like 1 or 2 seconds when it loaded all the data, it went like thump, and it was like a light went off of my head, and I'm like, the JPEG just goes boop, and it's there, and it displays right away because it's not that big a file. But the RAW files, it kind of loaded kind of flat first, and then it whoop, and then because the Photos app kind of does its own JPEG type, I don't know, editing or whatever, to make it look the best that it thinks it can look. And then I decided, I want to try editing these and see what I can actually do with a RAW file. So I tried Lightroom out and did some editing, and I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. I can bring out the shadows, lighten them up, darken down where it's too bright. And then they have this new masking thing not too long ago where it automatically chooses the sky or the subject. And I mean, it's just amazing. I haven't gotten into Photoshop. I probably will get into Photoshop soon, so I can take more than one picture and maybe different focuses or different lighting, and put them together. Yeah, it's something I've seen people do, but I don't know how to do it yet. But yeah, RAW is where it's at. I mean, if you want to get a picture looking spectacular, take it RAW all the time. Reason I wasn't doing RAW for quite a while, I had a friend that took RAW pictures, and I'm like, nah, then you have to edit it, and you got to tweak it just right, you got to make the colors look just right and everything. And he was like, well, yeah, you can do that, not with the JPEG though. And I was like, well, the JPEG is what it really looks like, until I saw a video on YouTube where they somebody compared different cameras, different camera brands, and the color science of the different brands looks different. Like a Sony and a Panasonic Lumix and a Canon and a Fuji, they all look different. You can take the exact same picture at the same time, and all 4 of them will look different. The colors will look slightly different, the lighting will look slightly different. And I was like, oh, well, I guess my camera is not taking the picture exactly as I see it. So that's when I'm like, well, if I take it RAW and I edit it the way I want it to look, the way I think it looked, best in my memory when I was there, or if I want to bring out the colors a little more, or the shadows a little more, or darken down the bright areas a little more than they were originally to make it look better, I can do that. And that's when I decided, you know, I'm not going to be afraid to edit pictures, so I'm going to take them raw. And it's not just this is the way it is, the way the camera took it. It's the way I want it to be, because it's art. Maybe not fine art. When I get to editing in Photoshop and removing things and adding things or combining things, it'll be more like fine art. But for what I'm doing now, I'm happy with Lightroom and just making things look the way I want them to look. And yeah, you take a picture the way it is at any given moment with the light from the sun or artificial light or whatever as it is, but you can tweak it and make it colors look a little different, lighting look a little different, maybe a little light or dark vignette around it or something like that, and some masking, make the clouds look a little better than they looked originally. Yeah, it's, you know, make the subject, if it's a person or animal in there, pop a little bit by making it a little fuzzy around the edges, whatever it takes. So that's why I'm like, okay, from now on, raw is the way to go. And I'm going to edit every picture. I'm not going to save every picture, but the ones that are worth saving, I want to be able to edit them and make them look the way I want, so I can share them as art. And a lot of them I'm going to print and put on the wall or put in a calendar and give to family and friends to start with, maybe sell some later. But yeah, that's my journey from JPEG to RAW. I used to think that the way a picture was taken, that's just the way it is. I'm not going to change it. I might edit it a little bit, but the JPEGs you can't do a whole lot. And then I saw the way RAW pictures looked and what you can do with them, because there's so much more information. And yeah, RAW is where it's at. Maybe I'll make a t-shirt with that. RAW is where it's at. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.